my honor to welcome all of you to the Eye on Life podcast. We finally made it. It's been about 2 months worth of putting this all together, and I want to thank all of you for joining me on the first episode. Very excited about it. Time is precious. I know it is, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to the show. One of the things that I have learned over the past couple of years is that time is one of the most precious commodities out there right now. You know, you lose a few bucks here and there. You lose respect here and there. You can earn it back. You can earn back money. You can earn back respect from people. You cannot get time back. You lose it. That's why people say, well, there's 30 minutes I'm never getting back. So welcome to Eye on Life podcast. I am your host, Brian Boyer, the one and only. I say one and only, not in an arrogant way at all. I say it because really, thank God there is only one of me. That's more than enough to tolerate. So you have chosen to tolerate me for the next half hour or so, maybe a little bit less on this intro show. We're just going to set the foundation for the show a little bit, tell you a little bit about it, talk about some of the shows that are on the way. And again, I respect your time. I appreciate your time, and thanks for it. And before we get into anything here, I think it's important to make note that we are going to have fun on the show. It's going to be engaging. It's going to be informative. It is going to be entertaining. And we're going to laugh a lot. And we're going to cover some things that are a little more serious than others, and others that are just not serious at all. But first and foremost, there's been some challenging times going on, especially over the past few months. And I want to make sure that a shout out to everyone out there who is listening, and even those who are not listening to the show. I hope that you and your loved ones, your family, your friends, your colleagues, you may not love them, but I hope everyone is healthy, safe, and well during this time. There's a lot going on, a lot out there right now, and I hope that this show can serve as a little bit of an escape, a little bit of a respite from all of the crazy seriousness that's out there. And we'll have some serious talks on the show. We will talk about the daily events that take place, and we're staying away from religion and politics here because you start to get sensitive, and we may touch on some of that a little bit, but we're really here to talk about some of the activities and some of the items that we talk about on daily life. Again, the podcast is Eye on Life, and we're going to go into a little bit about why the podcast was formed, what the podcast will be, and some of the upcoming shows. This will be a little bit shorter today, so I promise you, as we move forward, I will have guests on the show, so you will not have to sit there and listen to me for 30 or 40 minutes. We will actually have guests who are worthy of listening to, and I will just kind of guide the conversation, and I'll offer some of my perspectives, but I want to hear your perspectives too. This show it's a podcast for the people, and we are going to be transparent. We're going to be open and honest, and we're going to be engaging. So if you're wondering why this podcast is different than any of the other podcasts out there, I will answer any question that you have. I will respond to any inquiry via social media or email. We're getting ready to release the website. That'll be probably on the next show. And I want it to be a constant dialogue, not just once a week. I want it to be every day. And if you have show ideas, you have comments about the show, you have ideas for guests, I want to hear it because that's important to me. And I think it should be important to all the listeners as well. So let's get right to it first. And before we get into the show, there are a couple things that are on my mind that I want to get to. And one of those things, which I posted on social media recently, and I have, I think, a whopping almost 200 followers right now on Facebook. Hopefully we'll have more as the show progresses. But I know it's a lot, right? It's a ton of followers, 200. But I've been having a tough time sleeping lately at night, no problem sleeping during the day. A nice nap here and there, no issue. Fall right asleep. Of course, during the day is when you're supposed to be productive, but that hasn't been the case. So I go to bed at night, and I've been going to bed later. And I think a lot of people have been maybe impacted by COVID and everything that's been going on with COVID, and you just can't sleep at night for a variety of reasons. And I think that some people are maybe starting to lose their minds a little bit. I think everyone's doing a great job trying to keep it sane, but I think we've all had moments where we lose our minds. And I start to lose my mind when it gets late. The lights are off. The TV is off. The phone is somewhat off. I can't sleep at night. And it's a problem. I don't consider myself yet to be an insomniac, but it's getting to be that point. And if you ever see rolls under my eyes, circles, I apologize that you have to see the grossness on this. We decided to do video, so that's one of the risks that I decided to take. But I want to explain why I can't sleep at night. I want to see if there's anybody that can kind of relate to this. So first off, if you have kids, it's definitely added a layer of stress, anxiety, tears, emotions, blood, maybe not literally, or maybe in some cases literally. The whole homeschooling thing has been an absolute debacle. I don't know if there's anybody that's had perfection with homeschooling, please send me a Facebook notice or a LinkedIn notice. I need to know. It's BrianBoyer, Brian Boyer. I need to hear it because I have been stressed out about it. Now, school is ended, and I want to give the teachers, first off, a ton of credit on the show because it could not have been easier for them as well. But it has been absolutely a nightmare. Every day the kids wake up and they have these calls, they have FaceTimes or whatever they're doing, and they have to get out of bed, and they roll out of bed, and you're lucky to get them on there, and it's been absolutely brutal. So thank you for the teachers for at least being engaging and for making the effort and trying to make it as easy as possible for the kids and the parents. It's been absolutely brutal. So I can't sleep at night because I'm thinking of my kids and homeschooling. And anybody who homeschools out there, I will be honest with you. Anybody who homeschools during regular times before COVID, good for you. I used to judge it a little bit. How can you homeschool your kids? They need the social piece of school. They need to have that. I give you guys a lot of credit. Anybody that homeschools their kids, because it is not easy. So congratulations to you. Kudos to you. I'm not doing it again. I hope when these kids go back in the fall that they are going back into the damn classroom. Let the teachers take care of it. It is absolutely brutal. And I've heard horror stories, and I give the kids and the teachers a ton of credit for at least putting forth the effort. So I can't sleep when I'm thinking about that. It's got a little bit better since school's ended, but I still can't sleep. So why else can I sleep? Passwords. As I've been putting the show together, I want to just say that I am willing to take chances on my password being hacked. I am. I am willing to have my password hacked at this point. I can't remember every password. I can't remember every username. I would, if Vladimir Putin wants to hack in my email, if some jerk kid that's living in his basement, in his parents' basement, wants to hack into it. I have nothing to hide. Go ahead. I'm just tired of all the passwords. It is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm trying to track them, and I can't. I write it down incorrectly. I make a lot of mistakes. I admit it. I am tired of passwords. If you want to hack into my account, hack into my damn account. Go for it. Okay? I have nothing in there to hide. So I can't sleep at night because I have passwords that are run through my brain. Okay? That's another thing. Third thing is just the uncertainty of life right now. Let's be honest. No one knows anything that's going on right now, when it comes to COVID. We all have that one friend that is not a doctor, is not an infectious disease expert, and they're posting on Facebook as though they are. Okay? They're not. They don't know. The president doesn't know. Fauci doesn't know. No one knows. The governors don't know. We don't know. So the uncertainty of when things are, we're going through these phases where things are opening. I don't know what's open or what's not open. I don't know if I should go to a restaurant and sit inside or sit outside. If it's 6 feet or 7 feet or 4 feet, I don't know. Okay, that stresses me out. I don't want to get COVID. I don't want anybody that I know to get COVID. I don't want anybody that even I don't know to get COVID. Okay, I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. We don't know. And I don't know about you, but when it comes to not knowing things, that bothers me. I don't love surprises. A surprise birthday party here and there is fine, but I don't love it. So the uncertainty is keeping me up at night. So I sit there and I'm looking up at the wall, at the ceiling. I can't sleep. So finally I get to sleep and have bad dreams, but that's for another day. So that's one thing. That's what's keeping me awake at night. I cannot sleep. I admit it. If that makes me a weak person, then I'm weak. If that makes me a bad person, then I'm bad. But I cannot sleep. So hopefully hopefully this podcast can not only be informative, engaging, and entertaining, but it can maybe be a little bit of a, we can talk things out to make ourselves feel better about things. A little bit of a some therapy involved as well. Although I am not trained in therapy, so go see the experts for that. As far as things that make me feel a little bit better, and I'm about to get to, we're going to talk a little bit in a moment about the background of the show. But let me talk about the things that are making me feel good these days, positive. I'm trying. Many of the people who know me know that I tend to sometimes be a little negative, a little skeptical, a little untrustworthy. And I feel like over the past 3 months, I've had time to kind of think about things a little bit. Perspective is very important in life. And I think that one of the things that I'm feeling positive about is that there is a return to, for whatever it means, normalcy, whatever normalcy means to you. Okay. I don't judge anyone. If people decide that they still want to quarantine themselves, I don't judge that. And the people that want to go out and eat in a restaurant, if they're allowed to do that, I don't judge that either. The only thing that you have to do is if you're out in public and you're in a shop, you're shopping for food, you wear your mask, and that, those are regulations that have to take place, and you should do that, obviously. But anything else, if you feel like you're not comfortable going out, you want to seclude yourself, I get that. And if you want to go out and live life, I get that too. I'm kind of in the middle. So I feel positive about that things are starting to return to a little bit of normalcy. We can go out, we can sit outside, we can have a drink, have some dinner, and go from there. So that's making me feel pretty good. The other thing that I think is good that's making me feel better about things is change. Change is good. Change is scary. Change is uncertain. Change makes us feel insecure. But I've never seen anything in life succeed or become positive without change. It's hard. We've all had change in our lives, children and relationships and homes, and every change that happens is for the better. It really is. And usually, I shouldn't say always, but most of the time it's for the better. Usually things work out. So I feel good about that. I feel like there's a lot of change on the horizon. Getting a little dry here from all the talk, so I'm just going to have a little sip of this. If you want to text me or email me about what you think this is right here, I'd like to hear that. Looks like water, right? Stay hydrated. Change is good. Don't be afraid of change. Embrace change. You're going to see things probably in life now that are trends, sitting outside more often, al fresco, which I think is a great thing anyway, right? Outside, having a nice dinner outside with your friends or your significant other. It's a great thing. Embrace it. Life is changing. We don't know for how long, but it is changing. Embrace it. Enjoy it. Relish it. Life is too short to not embrace the change. Some things will be uncomfortable. Some things will be disruptors. But at the end of the day, embrace it. Go with it. Let's not get so stressed out about everything. And I want to be very honest with you. I get stressed out about a lot of things, a lot of little things. But try not to get stressed out. Let's work on it together. And let's go from there. Remember, we're really all in this crazy thing called life together. That might sound hokey, but it's true. We are. So let's stick together on it. Finally, and I know this may sound trivial, but I need sports back. I got a haircut the other day for the first time in 3 months. And I felt like an absolute hobbit with the long hair. And I feel really good today. And I was in the barbershop here in Connecticut, which is where I'm based. And it was lovely. And I was watching, I think they were showing some highlights of Kobe Bryant. May he rest in peace, however you felt about him. And it was just refreshing. Getting my hair cut, watching some sports. I don't know what's going to happen with sports. As you see the show, this is not going to be a sports podcast, but you will see that this show covers a lot of different things, and you will know that I'm a huge sports fan and particularly a huge New York Giants football fan. I need sports back. I don't care what's on Netflix. I really don't. Netflix is great, but I can't watch any more, tree cutting. I can't watch any more Golden Girls. I can't watch any more Everybody Loves Raymond. I love those shows. I really do, but I need sports. I need baseball. I need basketball. I need it all. In the overall scheme of things, is sports really that big of a deal? Probably not. Our health is more important, but sports makes me feel good. It makes me feel healthy. It makes me feel alive. whatever makes you feel alive, right? Think about what makes you feel alive in life. For me, that's sports, amongst other things, which we'll talk about on the show. I need sports back. I really hope there's a football season. I hope the owners and players can get together and figure out a way to play. I don't care if it's 10 games. Get it together and play. Let us feel alive again. Let us feel normal again. Sports represents that to me. So those are kind of the things that stressing me out and some of the things I'm starting to feel good about. I'm feeling good that there will be sports down the road here, and we're getting there. So we are absolutely getting there. So let me give you a little bit of background on myself and the show. I don't love to talk about myself, which is why I made the Eye on Life podcast a interview format, because I don't want to hear myself talk for 30 or 40 minutes each show. I really don't, and you don't either. Let's just be real, okay? So we're going to have some great guests on the show. We're going to have fun guests. As we establish a following, we are going to have some known guests. And I'm based here in Connecticut, but we are not a Connecticut-focused show. This is going to be Connecticut, and it's going to be every other state, every other 49 other states as well. So we will have guests from all over the place. And I want your feedback. I want to know if you know somebody who should be on the show. Let me know, because I want to hear it. If you think you should be on the show, I want to hear that too. Let's have some fun. We're going to have fun on the show. It's going to be a good time. Let me give you a little bit of background on Eye on Life. So the Eye on Life podcast is a lifestyle / daily life podcast. We are going to cover things, everything from super fans, people that have jobs, have families, have hobbies, that absolutely lose their minds when they watch their favorite college or professional team play. I am one of those people. I consider myself to be somewhat rational, somewhat mentally stable. But when the Giants are playing, I lose myself. I can't control it. I don't care who's around. When my kids were born, I promised that I would act like a sane human being. I didn't. I did not fulfill that promise. I got graded. I said to my kids as they got older, 2 boys, right? You graded me on each show, on each game. You let me know how I did as far as my behavior. I think I got a C+ as my highest. Why? Why do I do that? Why do I go crazy over the New York Giants? Why? So we're going to talk about that in one of our first shows here. Why do people go crazy? Why do people have such strong opinions about tattoos? Do you have tattoos all over your body? Do you have none? Would you date somebody that had a tattoo? Would you not date someone that had a tattoo? Why do people obsess over their pets? Dressing up their dogs, walking down the street in the winter with a little parka on. I'm not a pet guy. I'm not. I like pets, as long as they're not mine, right? You know, there are a lot of people that hate pets, and those are people that are considered to be mentally unstable, narcissists, right? People that can't love someone else except themselves. I love pets. I love when they walk down the street, as long as they're not mine. I had a hamster named Harold. I think in 3rd or 4th grade. When he died, I cried. I've had goldfish that have come and gone. They've died, you know. But I'm not a pet guy. I'm not dressing them up. I'm not entering them in contests. I don't judge people who do. I think those people are great. It's a hobby. Judge me on loving the Giants, right? I think that's great. So we're going to talk about that. Pet peeves. What are your biggest pet peeves? You know, do you hate it when somebody cuts you off on the road? Do you hate bad drivers? Is that a pet peeve? Do you hate it when somebody has a certain habit that just grates on you? Right? We've all been there. So have you ever been in a bar having a couple drinks and you hear a conversation, the group next to you is having a conversation, and you just want to join in on that conversation? It's a great conversation. They could be talking about anything. Maybe they're talking about their favorite sports teams. Maybe they're talking about music, and you just want to join in. Well, those are the kind of conversations we are going to have on this show, and I'm excited about it. And I want to be engaging, and I want to talk about the things that are sometimes fun to talk about. I want to talk about the things that are sometimes mundane to talk about, because we are going to make sure they're not mundane. We're going to talk about them and entertain ourselves, right? A lot of crazy things going on in society right now. Let's just enjoy ourselves and, grab a drink. I don't care what you drink. Coffee, beer, bourbon, ice water, stay hydrated, right? Join the show. Sit back, relax. Let me entertain you for about a half hour. Once a week. We're gonna do the show once a week. Excuse me. And this was actually supposed to be the shortest show, but anybody who knows me knows that I can't shut up. So the Eye on Life, as most of you know, is an Eye on Life. The I is the letter I in quotes. And the reason why it was Eye on Life on quotes was not because the show is about me and I. It was in quotes because it's about all of us. The conversations that we'll have on this show will be about all of us, the lives that we lead on daily, and the things that are important to us, the things that are not important to us, but things that we like to discuss. There's a lot of that going around right now. We need to get away from all of some of the real serious political, religious, societal issues, and we are going to talk about why we like a certain drink when it's 90 degrees out versus when it's 20 degrees out. Those are the kind of conversations we are going to have. And the show's going to be, we're going to improve at the show. I mean, this is the first show. You might not love the angle of me right now. You might not love the background, but we're going to keep proving the show, and hopefully we'll get more and more people to listen and more feedback. If you love the show, I want to hear it. If you hate the show, if you think I am the biggest dork, if you think I'm the biggest loser, or if you absolutely love the show and you think I'm the best thing around, which we'll need to talk about that because we might need a psychotic evaluation if that's the case. But I want to hear it. I don't care. It's great. You love it? You hate it? Let's hear it. If you love it and you hate it, but you still listen, that's what I want. So just to tell you a little bit about myself, I grew up in upstate New York, a town called Clifton Park, which hopefully some of you people in that area will be listening to the show. Clifton Park, midway between Albany, the capital, and Saratoga Springs, one of the absolute best places on earth. No offense to Albany, but Saratoga Springs is one of the best places on earth. Go there, races, Saratoga Performing Arts Center, amazing. Phenomenal place. So I grew up there. Nice middle-class community, and great people up there. Really enjoyed, really great place to grow up. And then left Clifton Park to go out to the Buffalo area, where if you know New York and you know the state system, State University of New York, otherwise known as SUNY. There's about 50 of them, I think, now. And I went to Fredonia, which is it's practically Canada. And if you love cold weather, Arctic weather, Fredonia is for you. But Fredonia, in between Buffalo and Erie, great college town, had an amazing 4 years there. Loved it. Really grew as a person. Love Fredonia. Go Blue Devils. And small school, but great people. Small town, a lot of bars, a lot of fun, really solid academics. And, we're going to do some shows on academics too. If you're, you might be getting ready for your kids to go off to college. We're going to talk about that. You don't have to go to Harvard to be successful. You really don't. You don't have to go to Harvard or Yale to be successful. Okay. So if you're listening to the show and your kid, your boy or girl is a senior, or in the next couple of years, they're getting ready to go someplace, don't worry about the sticker on the back of your car. Okay, worry about the best fit for that person. So we'll talk about that on another show as well. So went there, moved down to Washington, D.C. for a while. Lived in Baltimore and Washington, D.C., got into marketing communications, worked on the agency side, a lot of nonprofit work, worked for an economic development organization, worked for some newspapers as a reporter and editor. And about 2 months ago, my job was eliminated at a organization here in Hartford, and I felt bad about it. Loved the job. Job was awesome. Great people I worked with. Hopefully some of those people will be listening. I have nothing negative to say about it. It was a great job with great people, and we did great work, and they're still doing great work. So kudos to them for doing that. But, 40 million people were laid off or lost their job over the course of the COVID factor here. And so I feel good. I feel good that I have 40 million of my closest friends that also lost their jobs. But hopefully everybody's starting to settle back in, starting a business of my own, which will be branded similar to this podcast, but independent of the podcast. The Boyer Group, we will focus on marketing, business, and communications. That website will be up and running as well. I'll get a shameless plug, I'm sure, at some point on that. but we'll be doing some consulting on the marketing, business, and communication side of things. So I'm hoping that I can build that business while I build this podcast as well. And that's where we're at. So that's where we're at with the podcast right now. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea. Again, it'll be interview format. We'll do 30 to 40 minutes each show. We're not going to cut people off if we're on a roll. We'll stay on a roll. I'd like to keep the shows to about a half hour. I know that there are other podcasts out there. Some are 3 hours, some are 10 minutes. We'll see where we end up. I have the plan is no plan. That's really where we're at. We'll get to know each other, hopefully. I want to hear from you on social media. I will respond to everything. I really will. I will respond to everything, and let's have an open dialogue. Again, we'll have guests on the show. You want to be a guest? Somebody. We'll have that. And I want to talk about the first show that we'll have. So this is the intro show. This is just me talking about the podcast, giving you a little bit of a level set. Again, Brian Boyer. That's who I am. I will be the host of the show. And I want to have fun with you. That's what I want to do. I want to have some fun. I want to cover some of the life topics, conversations that you have with your friends. And right now, we'll do once a week. Hopefully the shows will drop mainly on Wednesdays, so we can do right in the middle of the week. And again, it's called Eye on Life Podcast. Check us out. We'll be on social media this week. And I want to have an open dialogue even when we're not having shows. So let's definitely do that. The first show we will do is on super fans. As I mentioned it earlier in the show, we are going to talk to two people that know a lot about being super fans. And when I talk about super fans, we're talking about, the crazies, right? The people that spend money on jerseys, sports jerseys with their favorite player on the back, people who spend money on season tickets. I'm a season ticket holder with the New York Giants, so I'll be very transparent about that. And we will have two people who I think are really great first guests. One is license plate guy who is a New York Giants super fan. Joe Rubeck is his name. And we're not going to go into too much here, but he is a super fan of the Giants. Has been going to home and away games for years. Guy does a ton in the community. He's a great fan, great guy, license plate guy. Google him. He's an unbelievable guy. He really is. A unique guy too. And then we will also have Del Reed, who is from my former neck of the woods out in Buffalo, New York. He is the founder of the Bills Mafia. And if you're a football fan, you know Bills Mafia. Those are the Buffalo Bills super fans, which I give them a ton of credit because that is a franchise who has suffered long and hard for a long time. And those are the people, and we don't condone this. Let me be very clear. Del does not condone this. We'll talk about it during the show. A lot of those people are the ones who you see drinking and diving into tables, diving into grills that are already lit. We do not condone that. That is not what Bills Mafia is about. But some of the Bills Mafia members do, they do that. So but we're going to talk to Del about why you should not do that. It'll be a little bit of a public service announcement. So that's the show. We're going to keep this somewhat short, so you don't have to listen to me again too long here. But that's the show, Eye on Life Podcast. And if you have show ideas, you can reach me at brian@eyeonlifepodcast.com. And we are going to, as I said, I've had a lot of people working on the show with me, so I want to thank them right up front here. I've had a lot of support from family, from friends. Don Napoleon is a tremendous video guy. He is going to edit this and make me sound human, hopefully. I have Martise, who has been my podcast guru. She's been amazing, and we'll definitely get her website on the show at some point as well. I'm sure I'm going to be forgetting some people as well, but I have Lucky Ames working on my website, DC guy, and whoever I forget, I'll mention you on another show, I promise. But so let's do this together. Let's join together. Let's have a dialogue. Let's enjoy the daily life topics that we like to discuss. Let's engage. Let's inform. And let's entertain. Because the reality is, as I said earlier, we are all in this thing together, this crazy thing called life. So between now and the next show where we talk about super fans, I hope that you will do me a favor. And together, let's all keep an eye on life. I'll see you in the next episode. Have a great week. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Thanks for watching.